Welcome to Charleston. Battery hosting Miami FC. Tonight's match is brought to you by MUSC Health. MUSC Health Sports Medicine is the area's most comprehensive and nationally recognized sports medicine team, committed to providing state-of-the-art diagnostics, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages and skill levels. For more information, go to muschhealth.org/sports. So, the standings in the Eastern Conference, Chris. The one to note, 8th place, Miami, 38 points. They need to win tonight.
As you can see, things are very tight between Miami, Detroit, and Tulsa. Miami currently occupy the last playoff position in 8th. A win tonight and a loss for Detroit City would have them secure their playoff position. Imperative that they get 3 points tonight.
As for Charleston Battery, they're in 3rd, and they've already locked up a home playoff match. So what can they accomplish tonight? They can get almost to 2nd, 1 point behind the Rowdies with the Rowdies' loss and a win tonight.
Yeah, I think for Ben Perman, the objective is a little bit different. It's a case of how can he motivate his team, how can he keep them winning games, performing to their maximum, knowing that they've already secured a playoff position. This is his challenge tonight. If they want to perform well in the playoffs, they need to keep that winning momentum, they need to keep that mentality going forward.
And one player who's key for that momentum is Fidel Barajas, who scored a brace against Tulsa. Both goals coming in the first half.
Yeah, Barajas has been imperative in the attacking third this season. 9 assists. He got 2 goals in the last game, and he obviously has Williams alongside him, who has 12 goals. So between those two in attack, this is what's carried Charleston into the playoffs and makes them a huge threat going forward.
Charleston in the playoffs. Miami FC not quite yet, but they could be tonight with a win and some help. They need a Detroit City loss to Loudoun United, and they need FC Tulsa to drop points against Indy 11. Detroit City losing to Loudoun doesn't look likely, but see those playoff odds at 38%. They'll become 100% after tonight if all 3 things on your screen happen. And for those things to happen, it starts with the Miami win. It starts with Joaquin Rivas. 9 goals this season. 8 of them have come in the last 9 matches.
Yeah, Rivas obviously been one of the leaders on this team. He's spoken about being a close locker room, the players sticking together. Leadership experience matters at these moments. Obviously, his team's been on a roller coaster season, but they picked up form in the past 3 games, and he has been leading from the front of his goals and his work rate.
3 wins in a row. You said it, Chris. That has been the streak for Miami FC. They'll need to continue the streak tonight, but it's a tough challenge on the road at Patriots Point against the Charleston Battery. Don't go anywhere. We've got lineups. We've got kickoff when we come back here on ESPN+.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat, because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
Tonight's match is brought to you by MUSC Health. MUSC Health Sports Medicine is the area's most comprehensive and nationally recognized sports medicine team, committed to providing state-of-the-art diagnostics, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages and skill levels. For more information, go to muschhealth.org/sports. BudLight.org/sports. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Bud Light. Here's Ben Pierman's side. 2 changes from last match. It's Arturo Rodriguez in, returning from injury, as well as Emilio Icaza in the midfield.
Yeah, for the Charleston Battery, I think, whilst they may have already qualified for the playoffs, having continuity and consistency in their lineup is important to get good performances in the playoffs. Messing around with players too much and switching players can only lead to disjointed performances in the playoffs. So I think having continuity in just 2 changes is good. Obviously, one of those being Segba's coming across from Miami FC.
Yeah, the former Miami man in the starting 11 for Charleston. As for Miami's starting 11, 1 change for Coach Neal's squad, and that is Kyle Murphy up top.
Yeah, we spoke about Miami FC being on a 3-game winning streak, and often if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I think that the change of having Murphy come in for Salazar, maybe there's a little bit more to that. Maybe it's an injury or form or something happened in training during the course of the week, but they've been very good in their performance recently, which is why it's important that we don't see a number of changes. They're going to need goals tonight. They're going to need their defense to be solid and keep a clean sheet. It's going to need to be an all-round collective performance tonight from Miami FC.
Well, you mentioned the clean sheets. This is a team in Miami FC that has been really good at keeping clean sheets of late. 2 in their last 2 matches, but a team in Miami FC that had a whopping 17 shutouts last year, so hoping they can return to that form for sure.
Yeah, and when you look at some of the players they have in defense, Paco Craig is a player who's already won a championship, leadership captain for this team. He's a player who would have prided himself on keeping clean sheets. So now being able to pick up that kind of form at the tail end of the season, if they can sustain that tonight against this Charleston attack, which is, as we spoke about, Barras 9 assists so far this season, William 12 goals. If they can shut these guys out and convert their chances, now this is a team that really could make some upsets in the playoffs. We saw Rivas talking about the 8th team often causing an upset and defeats the first team, so they want to be the team that provides those upsets this season.
2 teams in excellent form. Charleston had a 5-match unbeaten streak, finally snapped against El Paso with a 3-2 loss on Saturday. Miami, they've won 3 straight, and they need it just a little bit more. They're in 8th place, and a win tonight could result in a playoff berth by the end of this Saturday evening.
Yeah, and I think what's important is that maybe a lot of teams are maybe underestimating Miami FC, and they've forgotten about the history of this club and some of the names and the personnel that have been associated. This is one of the most storied clubs in USL Championship. Alessandro Nesta has been the head coach, and along with Maldini being executive in the club. So they have a rich history of success and importance and wanting to win and wanting to be successful. So now approaching the postseason playoffs and being able to find their way in, can they restore some of those glory days to this organization?
And it's such a tough task ahead of them, these last 2 matches, both on the road. And not only do they have to go to Charleston, they have to go to Sacramento to finish things off at 10 p.m. on the 14th, a week from now. I'm Nevada Cullen, by the way. Chris Nurse is my color commentator. Our producer tonight, John Solfaro. As Charleston looked to strike early, Miami has Cabral down, and he's able to get up. Packed house tonight at Patriots Point. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Night. And Chris, you were saying the tickets had been sold far in advance for this one.
Yeah, and it's always good to see the fans and the local community come out and support a good cause. We know that the sport of soccer in itself can have such an impact on the community, and being able to raise awareness and money for such a good cause as breast cancer awareness, you cannot speak to the value that it has and the amount of touches, the hearts that it touches. My mum passed away from breast cancer, so it's something very close to myself. So I always enjoy Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Ben Pierman, his mom, a breast cancer survivor, so lots of people, he spoke about that during this week, lots of people impacted. And we are, of course, thinking of those like your mom, Chris, and those we have lost because of breast cancer. And just, this is a great sight to see at Patriots Point, to see them rallying together, building up funds for breast cancer awareness. Here's the captain, Paco Craig, out wide to Aiden Stanley, who provided an assist against Hartford for the Florian Valo goal. Miami FC this season have not been the best on the road, 4-8-3. But they did manage a 2-0 win at Birmingham the last time they went away from home.
Yeah, I think their past 3 games, they're showing some form at the right time. Is it enough to go on and make the playoffs and win a championship? I think tonight is a big test. as I spoke about, if they're able to keep this attack quiet tonight and they're able to keep a clean sheet, I think it's a huge step forward in their process and in their success this season. So I think tonight is a huge test to see whether Miami FC really have turned the page in terms of going on and being contenders this year.
Here's the keys to the game. Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by Gildan, a leader in high-quality, comfortable apparel basics located right here in the Low Country.
Yeah, for Charleston Battery, as we spoke about, they've already made the playoffs. So the key to them is can they continue the winning momentum, winning mentality. Sometimes when teams already make the playoffs, it's easy to just take your foot off the gas a little bit, be a little bit relaxed and comfortable, and that often leads in the playoffs that you're not performing at your peak. Sometimes when there's a little more at stake in those final few games and you have to be performing to your maximum, you take those performances and that momentum into the playoffs with you. Obviously, Charleston have already qualified, so it's going to be on Ben Perman to see if he can continue to motivate and keep his team performing at the highest level. For Miami FC, you know, we keep speaking about this front line for Charleston, Barajas and Williams. If they can keep a clean sheet and in themselves get the first goal, that's huge for them. And that's going to give them confidence and momentum now to go into that final game. Or they could clinch the playoffs tonight, go forward and really achieve something spectacular.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there, because Ben Perman was talking about how his team needs to keep the foot on the gas pedal, not take it off, because the last two matches against Tulsa and El Paso, they failed to keep a clean sheet, and it really bit them against El Paso.
Yeah, you know, you're approaching the phase of the season, and the words that he used to describe what his team needs tonight: energy, attitude, effort, conviction, passion, and aggressiveness. You know, these are words that you associate with a championship team, but they're also the characteristics that come into question when a team's already made the playoffs and they can become a little bit complacent. So he's challenged his team to make sure that the way they approach this game from a character standpoint, a mentality standpoint, remains at the highest.
Good takeaway by Ikaza for Charleston. Battery led 2-1 against El Paso on the road on Saturday and gave up 2 late goals. Dodson.
I think one of the things that Ben Perman alluded to when we spoke to him this week was that he's highly surprised with the mentality and the level and intensity of training this week. He said everything's remained high. He said at times things are boiling over because players are competing to be in those playoff games. They're not just comfortable with getting there. Now they know it's 20 players competing to be in that starting 11. So he said the temperature's high, players are competing, the mentality remains high, and things often boil over. And that's actually a good trait to have. While you want the team to be cohesive and working together, you still want that competition every day in practice, having players on their toes, knowing that there's someone right behind them wanting to take their place. And that's what drives high performance on a daily basis.
Yeah, we kind of got the vibe from him that they have something to prove still, even in the regular season. So they're not going to just lay down, even though, and completely rotate players, even though they've already locked up that home playoff match. And we saw that with the starting 11, just 2 changes from last week. Ikaza for Dodson. Nice spell of possession for the home side, Charleston. Over 52% possession on the season. That one's crossed in. Chested down by Traeger. Tristan Traeger cuts to his left. Running out of room, chips it across, and denied by McGuire. Second chance, it's Augie Williams, and the hosts lead 1-0.
Well, forget my keys to the game. Well, actually keep my keys to the game in favor of Charleston, but for Miami FC keeping a clean sheet, they've made it really hard for themselves by conceding in the first 10 minutes of the game. Williams had 2 bites at the cherry. Keeper did really well here on the first one. McGuire, 1v1 here. Does really well to beat his man. Gets right to the line, cuts it back, and Williams at the far post. McGuire saves the first one, but makes no mistake with the second one. Williams gets his 13th goal of the season in the opening 10 minutes of this game.
Battery goal with a sparkling finish is brought to you by Diamonds Direct. Augie Williams last week at El Paso had a penalty saved and actually missed the penalty and then had a shot saved. This time he has his first shot saved and he got a chance right after that and he put it away for, like you said, goal number 13, Charleston's leader in goals this season to put the hosts ahead.
Yeah, you have to give Traeger a lot of credit here, and you know we love to see attacking players. We love to see players get the ball in 1v1 situation, and he does excellent up against the fullback here. Fakes that he's going to deliver it across, gets right to the bar line, cuts it back into the box for Williams, who does well with his first effort. Maguire makes a great save, but then nobody's there for the second ball. Williams gets the second bite at the cherry and buries it into the back of the net.
Today's injury report is presented by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. So Marcanic out, Crawford out. Marcanic was 50-50 according to Coach Pierman, so unfortunately he is unavailable tonight. And Curtis Thorne out for the year. Ben Mines, not quite, as they hope to get him back soon. Good sign, though, to see just 2 players for each side, though. Neither team really struggling with the injury bug, and you don't want that late in the season.
Yeah, I think what happened with this opening stage is Miami FC have definitely been the more passive team in this opening 10 minutes. They've allowed Charleston to have possession of the ball and dictate the tempo of the game and create chances. And obviously that's led to a goal with the first meaningful chance that was created. But they've been fairly decent in keeping their shape and keeping compact as a unit. But they just got completely destroyed in the 1v1 situation there, and Williams was in the box all alone to finish it off.
It was impressive to see Traeger keep that ball in, like you said. That was great from him. Here's Arturo Rodriguez. His centering pass is picked off by Paco Craig, who tries to start the counter. Christian Sordo for Miami.
Yeah, Charleston having a lot of success right now in the wide areas, getting their wide players into 1v1 situations, be it Traeger on the left side or Barajas on the right side. We know Barajas is one of the leading assists in the league this season, currently with 9. So he's a very dangerous player that you want to pay close attention to. You don't want to leave him in too much time and space facing forward, because he has the ability to play those passes that will hurt you.
Yeah, next assist for Fidel Barajas will make him the 26th player in USL Championship history to get to double digits in a season. Here's the former Miami man, Mark Segbers. Acquired via transfer on the 22nd of September. Allen back to him. Very positive from Coach Lewis Neal, saying we didn't really want to lose Segbers. It's hard to lose a player of such quality late in the season as your team's trying to secure a playoff berth, but Ben Pierman was just ecstatic that the board was able to get that move in just in time so that Segbers can play for Charleston in the postseason. Segbers made his debut against El Paso. He actually made a bad pass that led to an El Paso goal. But Coach Pierman said he was excellent after that. But that he is the type of player that he's just going to remember that one. Pierman, quick to remind him, move on to Miami. He knows this is a big match for Mark Segbers.
Velo doing some good defensive work to win possession of the ball for Miami FC, but just needs to find a teammate. Charleston have been doing a good job of keeping possession, so when Miami FC do get possession, they need to be a little more patient, just hold on to it a little bit longer, because Charleston have been very aggressive in dictating the tempo of the game so far in these opening 10 minutes.
1-0 Charleston, thanks to the 13th goal of the season for Augie Williams. The Sierra Leone international. This is his 3rd season in the last 4 years with at least 10 goals. Derek Dodson. Clears for Charleston.
It's a huge test of character now for Miami FC. Although this loss may not knock them out of the playoffs, it definitely gives a little bit more of motivation to Detroit and Tulsa to keep their hopes alive. So it's going to be interesting to see how they react. One of the characteristics that Lewis Neal has praised his team for is being able to fight and overcome adversity this season. They're definitely in an adverse situation now, being 1-0 down away in Charleston. They have their own playoff hopes in their own hands. If they're able to get 3 points from these last 2 games, they will go through to the playoffs. So it's really up to Miami FC whether they're able to turn this around and overcome this 1-0 deficit right now to keep themselves in that race, or lead in that race, should I say. Yeah,
it must be exciting to control your own destiny, regardless of how difficult these last 2 matchups will be with Charleston and then Sacramento. If Miami wins them both, they're in.
And to be labeled a good team, because we heard numerous times Charleston
Murphy might be through here. Gets the shot away, took a deflection, and it is out. It should be a Miami corner.
Good through pass here from Rivas. Reads Murphy's run. Murphy does well at it. A little bit quicker there. He's able to get in front of the defender, probably get a cleaner shot off, but does well to win the corner for his team. This is a great opportunity for Miami FC to get themselves back into this game with a good delivery.
Kyle Murphy making just his 3rd start in the last 12 Miami matches. Aiden Stanley to take this free kick. Assisted the opening goal for Miami last week. That's headed away by Leland Archer.
It's a great delivery there. Just needed somebody attacking that central area directly into the danger zone. Only a Charleston shirt was able to get their head onto it, but dangerous delivery there.
Another look at Charleston's goal. Traeger did an excellent job here. Again, how did he keep this in?
Yeah, he just sucks Telfer in, and Telfer's unable to block the cross. If he can stop the cross, then obviously there's nothing to do with in the box, but he does well getting the better of Telfer, delivers it to the back post. Williams is waiting there, licking his lips, finishes it off lovely.
Augie Williams looking like Jose Altuve on the first pitch of the Astros ALDS, hitting a home run after that goal.
Yeah, and I think he's proven his worth and his value to his team this season. If he provided with a service, he'll get you the goals. And I think he has players around him who can do that. Traeger's been the person to step up tonight, but Barajas has been that guy all season to be providing assists for his teammates.
Williams and Barajas, the dynamic duo. Tristan Traeger is really coming in his own lately. It was really the September 9th match against San Diego when he scored his first career brace. Those goals came right before the break and right after halftime. And then he scored again against Loudoun in the 21st second of the match. And Below able to get to that for Miami.
And if you're watching both teams right now, especially in attack, you can see where Charleston are pretty intentional about where their attack's coming from. Wide areas. You can see Barajas picked up the ball there, driving into wide areas, looking to deliver the cross with his weaker right foot. So they've definitely assessed Miami and feel that they can get successful against them in wide areas, either in 2v1 situations or 1v1 situations, and then you have Williams attacking in the box. For Miami FC, we haven't really been able to figure out their pattern of attackers yet. Rivas obviously threading through a nice ball earlier for Murphy, but they've not really had too many successful entries into the final third where we could define their strategy for breaking down Charleston.
There's Lewis Neal, took over it as interim head coach for Miami FC on June 20th, and he is on the brink of leading his squad into the playoffs after a tumultuous season with lots of trials and tribulations.
Yeah, and he spoke about the 3-game winning streak, bringing some renewed confidence and belief to the group. He's very much a player's coach. He likes to give to the players, the relationship he has with the players, they feel comfortable around him. Managing the highs and lows of the players and the experience that he has from his own playing career, he feels very much that him being able to bring that to the group has been a bonus for them and has been part of the reason they've had a resurgence in form. But he also was able to recognize where he is on his journey right now. He hasn't long stopped playing himself. He was an assistant coach, and now he's getting his feet wet as a head coach, and he's had some success. You know, 3 wins in the USL Championship is not easy at any task. There's some teams who go through the whole season and don't get 3 wins. So he's had some success in his early phases, and he's looking to bounce on from that.
I loved what he said upon reflecting on this season. He said that he'll always look back at this moment as one of positivity and growth. He's seen how much he's grown as a coach in becoming the head coach for Miami FC.
Yeah, and he's very grateful for being given the opportunity. Was one of the things that he also highlighted, that this is a fantastic opportunity for his development growth. But he also feels that as much as his development growth, that he can give and impact these players positively, and he wants to bring the success to the organization also.
There's a bump and a free kick coming for Charleston. Miami really saved their season because they had lost 4 straight matches, and then they've won 3 in a row since. Here's another look at the foul.
Yeah, just a little bit late with the contact there, Paco Craig.
But for Miami, they lost to the Rowdies, they lost to Indy, then they lost to Detroit, and then Pittsburgh. But realistically, they couldn't lose to Detroit. They're like, no. We're competing with them for a playoff spot. You'd expect after Miami lost to Detroit, okay, maybe they finish 9th or 10th, they just miss out, but they have bounced back in a big way. You see their last 5 matches, those 3 wins have come in their last 3.
Yeah, as I spoke briefly about the reputation of Miami FC in the USL Championship, they're one of the strongest teams in the league historically. similar to Orange County in the Western Conference. Early in the season, Orange County were way down the bottom and they managed to go on a string of results. Now they're way up in the top of the Western Conference of the Championship and will definitely be one of the contenders for the postseason trophy. Miami FC are similar. They're completely underperforming this season in comparison to the expectations of probably themselves and the expectations of everybody else in the league, which is why, despite occupying the last place, everybody still gives them the credentials as a good team. Now it's on them to go and prove that in these closing games, 2 games, maintain their last playoff spot. If they don't do that, then I think they've written their own story this season and they'll get what they deserve. But I think they have a huge opportunity to turn it around right now.
Yeah, well, Ben Pierman said it. You take any roster in the league, you take the name of the team away, and you look at that roster, you see Miami FC's roster, that is one of the best in the league. They have some ridiculous talent.
Yeah, and you have winners. You have players who have won before. They've been in that position before. They've lifted the trophy before. So their experience, that knowledge, that being in that situation before is massive in this situation. They're the players who know that when they're down a game, how to turn it around, how to have the motivation, how to manage the game, essentially. So having that experience in this squad is invaluable.
Still 1-0 Charleston as we hit 19 minutes played. And a foul going against Miami. Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. That one a promising period of attack for Charleston.
Yeah, a little bit confused there whether Traeger was looking to whip that into the far post or if he was trying to deliver across to his teammate. Interesting, because there's a Miami FC player down on the halfway line making no attempt to get up, and the referee allowed play to continue. Obviously, he's up now because there's no stoppage for a trainer coming to the game, but had that attack ended in a goal, Miami FC were playing with just 10 players at that time.
And there's the band at Patriots Point, establishing the rhythm that their team is playing in right now. Charleston have to be feeling good about the way this match has started as they try to grab that 2 seed in the East. With a Charleston win tonight and a Tampa Bay Rowdies loss to Pittsburgh, Charleston's just 1 point behind the Rowdies for that 2nd seed. It's Ryan Telfer, who has had to adjust his role. Cabral, plenty of space. Has Sordo. Christian Sordo shoots, and it's blocked by Muse. Didn't catch it cleanly, but did enough.
Yeah, it wasn't the best effort there from Sori. Charleston gave him a lot of time and space in the box there to pick his corner, and he just didn't hit the ball clean enough. Really should have done better with that effort.
Yeah, it was pretty lax defending there. Gave either him or Cabral plenty of time, but if it's Charleston, they've probably picked out Joaquin Rivas as well as Florian Velo and said, okay, these two, they can't beat us. That one's crossed in, and it's out for a corner kick. But I'm sure they prefer Sordo and Cabral to be the ones to take the good opportunities.
You can see Sordo just has so much time and space to pick his corner. He tries to get the ball at his feet. You think he's going to bend it into the far post, but he actually goes for the goalkeeper's near post, and the goalkeeper doesn't need to move that much to save this one. I think he has more success, so much space open at the far post to bend that into the side netting, but great opportunity there for Miami FC to get back level pegging there from Sordo.
Trey Muse, 11 clean sheets. That's 2nd in the league behind Lou City's Oliver Semley. Corner for Miami, near post, headed away by Juan Sebastian Palma.
Again, it's another great delivery, and there's no Miami shirts in that area to attack the ball. It's just pure Charleston shirts heading that ball out under no pressure.
And for Miami, you're just hoping that somebody on those corners can lose their marker and slip open and be on the end of one of those wonderful deliveries. Miami FC, one of the best teams in the league in scoring early. 10 goals in the opening 15 minutes. That's 2nd in the league. Well, they gave up a goal in the opening 15 to Charleston's Augie Williams. And now they have to play from behind. Apologies for the technical difficulties there, but we're back.
Yeah, and I think Miami FC just started the game a little bit slower, and you can't afford to do that in the position that they're in, where they're holding on to a player position. They really needed to start the game fast. Maybe sitting back and allowing Charleston to take the tempo in the opening 10 minutes wasn't the right thing to do, but Telfer could have done a better job at blocking that cross, and you can't leave Williams in the box in 1 yard of space on his own because he'll punish you. He didn't just have one shot on target, he had 2 shots on target in that play, and there wasn't a Miami FC defender able to get across and block him and put enough pressure on him for him to not be able to get the shot off. So there's 2 things that happen in that play that they'll reflect on and be like, you know, we kind of caused our own issues here.
Segbers, so dangerous going forward. Traeger back for Allen. And that one will roll out over the end line for a goal kick.
While it rolls out for a goal kick, you can still see Charleston trying to play in those wide areas, trying to exploit those spaces in the wide areas and get their players matched up 1v1, or get runners making overlapping runs into those wide areas and deliver crosses. Delivering crosses has been the approach they've gone in trying to create goal scoring opportunities so far in this game. And of course, they've been successful in one attack, but there's been a couple of dangerous attacks from Traeger and Barrias either side.
Would you like to see Miami get the ball to Aiden Stanley a bit more? I know that's something that Coach Neal was talking about. They want him going forward and providing the services.
Yeah, I think what we want to see primarily is just some more urgency from Miami. I know we still a long time to play. You don't want to see them panic, but they definitely need to try to take control of the game with a little more urgency, a little bit more intensity, a little bit more passion. They don't want to leave it to the last 15 minutes to realize, hey, you're fighting for your survival in the postseason. You want to take responsibility of that as early as you can and try and get control of the game.
Fortunately, I think Miami's recent run has boosted their confidence a bit, and they've been in some wild ones. So this one goal will not be enough, I'm just going to go out there and say it, to stop Miami tonight. Because if you look at that Louisville match and all of that they went through in that match, and they still somehow pulled it out 4-3.
Yeah, I think the key is defensively they can't afford to allow Williams to have any more chances. I think they've got to do better in their 1v1 defending, and then when they get possession of the ball, the chance that Soto had to finish there, he's got to make that pay. You're not going to get 10, 20 chances of that level throughout the course of the game. When you get a chance that good, you've really got to capitalize on that if you're going to take advantage of this Charleston team.
Safe to say Ben Ofemu was not happy with that call, the foul on Miami, but Miami has possession back. Florian Below, the Frenchman, with the throw-in. Chested down by Ikaza. Pounced on by Rivas. But Traeger, who has been excellent in the early going, takes it away. Williams trying to get on the end of it, but Paco Craig is there, and McGuire clears.
Akinyodi just needs to do a little bit of a better job there of protecting the ball in the center of the field and keeping his team in possession.
Long ball, and Muse was out, but able to clear. And Rodriguez has that pass shielded. Charleston up 1-0 here in the 27th minute. It was a 7th-minute goal by Augie Williams to put Charleston ahead. The assist was from this guy, Tristan Traeger.
And this is the mentality approaches from both teams. From Miami FC, they've been told that every game of the remaining 2, some nice footwork there. From Palmer, I believe it is.
Williams gets the shot away, and McGuire, that's easy for him.
Looks like
Ofemu in a bit of pain.
Looks like Williams may have connected it with him with the follow through from the shot.
A lot of power usually behind the shots from Augie Williams, and you hope Ofemu is okay after withstanding the brunt of the follow through.
Williams does well to create space here. Oh! Ballsy to say the least. That's not going to feel nice.
I don't think you're supposed to laugh at him, Chris. We gotta applaud the effort.
I've been in those shoes before.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Fair play for leaving
putting his body on the line.
Putting his body on the line, leaving it all on the line.
Oh, Ben Ofemu, 23-year-old from West Bloomfield, Michigan. Good to see him back up. Ofemu actually turned 23 last week against Hartford, so happy belated to him. And made his 10th straight start. This is number 11 in a row. Wow. Thanks to producer John Silfaro telling us it's a sellout at Patriots Point. Quite the atmosphere in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, and the expectancy is for this Charleston team to put on a show tonight for their fans. But can Miami FC be the spoilers? We were speaking about the mentality that coaches have asked their teams to approach this with. And for Charleston, they've been told that every game they play is a playoff game, which is almost the situation. Miami FC are giving it everything they got to keep themselves in the playoffs, and obviously Charleston want to continue their winning momentum. For Miami FC, they've been told that their remaining 2 games is almost like a cup final, so they need to go out 1 game at a time and give it everything they've got to keep their playoff hopes alive. So both teams are approaching these games with a sense of everything is on the line, everything's at stake, a sense of urgency, a sense of desperation to win and pick up 3 points.
Yeah, you'd expect Miami FC to be the more hungry side, but they haven't shown it yet.
Yeah, but that's what I was alluding to in terms of a reaction to going down a goal. You want to see fight, you want to see competition, you want to see aggression, you want to see intensity, you want to see them take their destiny into their own hands.
Good cut back there by Stanley. Settled by Cabral. Sordo back to Cabral. Has space. Cabral from distance. And that's easy for Trey Muse.
Yeah, and you can see this is the second time Miami FC have been in and around the area, whether it's inside the box or outside the box. Charleston have been dropping off, allowing them the space to get shots off from distance. If the quality on the shots is better and you have players who are capable of scoring for that distance, it's a phenomenal opportunity for Miami FC to get the equalising goal. We've seen Rivas score last week from distance with that beautiful left foot. So I think there's goals to come. It's just delivering with the quality. Miami FC have had a couple of looks on goal, and the strikes haven't necessarily been good enough. But if they keep being given that time and space, and they're able to sustain possession of the ball and get to those areas, I think it's only a matter of time before they get the opportunity to get the equaliser.
And there were a few great attempts from well beyond the area against Hartford, actually, at home last match for Miami. The only thing that stood between scoring and not scoring for those attempts was the crossbar. It was Christian Sordo who hit the crossbar in the first half. They had one more player also hit the crossbar with a shot from outside, and then it was a Michael Salazar header that also hit the woodwork. So there were 3 shots in that first half that all clanged off the woodwork.
Yeah, I think another key for Miami FC in this game is they need to keep Ofemu with his back to goal. Don't drop off him and give him the opportunity to turn there. We saw Williams up against Ofemu just then, and Ofemu drops off Williams, and Williams is able to turn and face forward, and that's when he's going to be most dangerous. If they can close him down and keep him with his back to goal and not give him the opportunity to face forward with the ball, it's going to nullify his attacking threat. So I think that's an area where Miami FC can improve a little bit to give them more success.
Ofemu, the former member of the Birmingham Legion, who Miami beat 2 games ago in the midst of this 3-match win streak.
Clearly a player who leaves it all on the pitch. Not afraid to put his body in front of the ball.
Stanley able to get free for a second. Ikaza, though, able to clear. Header flicked on by Augie Williams, but Ofemo with his back to goal for now. Akinyode. Cleared by Dodson.
Akinyode's been very sloppy in the centre of the park today. That's the second time, whether it's been players closing him down and taking possession or lackluster passing there. He's got good possession of the ball. He tries to play a difficult pass with the outside of his left foot and turns it over. This is what Miami FC need to eradicate in order to be successful and build their attacks. They've got to be more purposeful when they're possession in the centre of the park.
Akinyode's been seeing quite a bit of ketchup and mustard lately. He had a second yellow card against Pittsburgh as Williams sees it roll out.
Yeah, Paco Craig has to be careful there. You see the speed of Williams. Once that ball bounces, it becomes any person's ball. And Williams actually gets in front of Craig there and gives him a lot of problems. The ball runs out for a corner kick. Maybe in that situation and what's at stake, Craig just needs to clear that one away from danger and not give Williams the opportunity to steal it off him there, because had that had one more bounce, I think Williams has the opportunity to lob that over the keeper and get his second goal of the night.
It'll either be Barajas or Rodriguez to take this corner kick for the Battery as they look to delight this crowd in Mount Pleasant. It's Barajas and cleared by Akinyode, only as far as Allen. He has a go, it's off the post. And the referee whistles play dead.
Interesting point to stop the game there. What a strike there from the edge of the box.
And it's Dodson down.
I think Dodson goes down here when Akinyode clears this corner initially somehow. I'm not sure what happens there, but what a strike from distance here.
Oh, and what a save
Hits
by
the
Maguire.
post, comes back off the goalkeeper's hand, and sometimes these ones hit the post, hit the back of the goalkeeper's head, and end up nestling in the back of the net. But so close for Charleston to take the lead there.
So Dodson still being tended to, 24-year-old from Aurora, Illinois.
I think it was Allen who got that shot off there from the edge of the box.
Yeah, Allen, who does not have a goal this season, but decided why not have a go with plenty of space, and he didn't miss by all that much.
The strike had a little bit of everything, a little bit of bend, a little bit of power, a little bit of whip.
Yeah, it was a strike from someone you would expect to have a goal this season, but Allen does not. Had a goal last year with Memphis for Coach Pierman. And one more look.
Corner kick. I think it's completely accidental, but maybe the hand of Akinyode does connect with Dodson's face. Nothing malicious or intentful about it, but
imagine if Maguire lands on Dodson trying to make that save. Lucky they were just parallel and not perpendicular.
it was an interesting time when the referee actually blew to stop play.
Yeah.
The ball was still in play, having ricocheted off the post. But I guess the position where Dodson was, it was probably best to stop play, because had the ball been whipped back into the box, he's not in any position to defend himself, and there could be players trampling all over him. So I think the referee is probably left with no option but to stop playing that situation. But Charleston actually had the advantage in that situation.
And who knows, maybe Dodson would have ended up in an offside position. He kind of is
Yeah.
at the time of the, well, after the foul. Looking at the live standings in the USL Championship, notice Miami not there because they are not winning. Detroit match just starting. And if Detroit draws tonight and Miami loses, then things become a bit more interesting.
Yeah, and I think as we approach half-time and that message is able to be reciprocated to the players, I would expect that in the second half we see the beast unleashed in Miami. We see that completely different intensity, and we see players take this energy, the intensity, up 3 or 4 levels and really bring this game to Charleston in the second half, because they know if this result remains the same and Detroit are able to pick a result, essentially their destiny is no longer in their own hands. It will be in Detroit's hands to go on and see whether they can hold on to that last play position. So I expect to see, once we get to halftime and Miami are able to get wind that they're no longer occupying that last play position, to see a complete different animal be unleashed in the second half.
Telfer let it roll for a second right before stopping it.
Charleston are playing well, but there's not much happening from a result standpoint that's really going to motivate them to perform any harder. They're having a decent performance. From Miami's standpoint, that result, or seeing themselves outside of the player position, should be an instigator to really kick things up a notch.
Christian Sordo, by the way, for Miami, was holding his back or his hip just a second ago after turning for Miami. So something to monitor. Hopefully he has not picked up an injury. He seemed to be running fine just a moment ago. And that is a foul against Miami on Florian Valot.
Yeah, I think what we're starting to see from Miami is we're seeing individuals take the initiative amongst themselves and pressuring a little bit harder and chasing down the ball. But when it's not collective, Charleston are able to get out of that or play to 3 players. They need to get everybody on the same page where they're pressing together with that intensity.
The Battery are back at Patriots Point on Saturday, October 14th versus Birmingham Legion. Tickets are available now via SeatGeek, the Battery's exclusive ticketing provider. Get your tickets now and save up to $10 per seat when you buy in advance. Head to tickets.charlestonbattery.com today.
As you mentioned, Soto was holding his back. He's now gone down in the corner flag area. Not sure if the referee's noticed it yet, but he's definitely going to need attention.
Sordo, the 23-year-old from Silver Springs, Maryland. Scored against Lou City a few matches ago. That was his career best 5th goal of the season. Former DC United Academy product, El Salvador international, and he seems to be in a lot of pain in his lower back area.
I have to disagree with this decision from the referee here. Soto's clearly down, which means he needs to get medical attention onto the field. He allows play to continue. The throw-on's taken, and somebody does something. It ends up distributing a yellow card when the game should have been stopped to allow this to happen a little bit earlier.
Yeah, Soto was clearly in a bit of pain, and now it looks like more pain in that area, and finally play was stopped, but perhaps a little too late. And hopefully this is only a minor injury and can be fixed so Sordo can stay in.
He seems to be in some discomfort. He went down to the ground when there was no one around him, which kind of says that he was inflicted, the pain was so severe that he needed to go down himself and get medical attention. Whether he collided with somebody's knee, or if it's a nagging injury that he was trying to run off himself, or something, he's definitely a player that Miami FC would like to remain on the field for the remainder of his game. He's had a couple of good opportunities himself, so it's going to be interesting if he's able to run this off.
Not a good sign that he's still holding that lower back, and hopefully that pain goes away pretty quickly.
Not yet, no.
Miami FC does have Michael Salazar on the bench, who had started 9 of the last 11 matches, but he's, I guess, a more natural replacement for Kyle Murphy, but perhaps could slot in case Sordo can't continue.
Yeah, as we spoke about, Salazar has been an important figure in the 3 wins that Miami FC had of recent.
There's Chris John Francois getting loose, the Academy product, who was called up at the start of September. He is warming up. I don't know if he'll play tonight. It would be his professional debut in a huge match for Miami, but maybe, you know, beginner's luck or a little bit of a spark from a young player, and who knows what could happen.
So Miami currently playing with 10 until they're able to get Soto back onto the field, which he is right now. Let's see how that back holds up. Hopefully he can get to half-time, maybe get some treatment and see where things go from there.
Yeah, great sign that he is able to continue for Miami FC. Not much time left in the opening 45. 1-0 Charleston. A goal from Augie Williams all the way back in the 7th minute. Velo tries to cross, and it is Mark Segwers who knocks it out for a throw.
I think Miami FC are doing a decent job of trying to switch the point of attack. However, I think Akinyodi and Cabral can do a better job of trying to play forward quicker. A lot of sideways passes, which isn't really threatening to Charleston. The 2 centre midfielders, if they can get on the ball quicker and good body positioning and have players in front of them making movements, they can be the ones to play forward. It doesn't necessarily need to go all the way from side to side when they're switching the point of attack.
By the way, Fidel Barajas was the one to get a yellow for Charleston.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I think that was, had the referee stopped the play and recognized Soto was down and didn't allow the throw-in to come in, that yellow card was completely unnecessary.
That yellow card is brought to you by Spink's Convenience Stores located across South Carolina.
I think for Miami FC, Luis New is going to have to give one of those any given Sunday speeches at halftime and get his team coming out here firing in the second half. We definitely know there's more to come from them. This isn't the best display that Miami FC have given that we know that they can give. They're still very much in the game. It's a tight margin. So if they really can wake themselves up in the second half, I think it's well within themselves to get 2 goals and take their destiny back into their own hands. However, if they continue to play like they are, then I don't think anybody can feel sorry for them if they don't make the postseason, because it's not necessarily been enough in this opening half to warrant their position to be there.
Louis Neal did talk about the fact that, you know, if things don't go their way in these last 2 matches, they don't make the postseason, there is something to be proud of for the fact that they're still in it. That was a goal that he set for the team and himself to be involved in that playoff race come the last match of the season against Sacramento. And, well, give them some credit. They are here. They are still in. They even have control of their own destiny.
Yeah, and I think the destiny goes far beyond just making the playoffs. I think these players they're playing for their futures also. As we mentioned, Miami FC, it's not an organization that's going to be content with not making the playoffs. So if they don't manage to turn things around, you can expect a number of changes next season from a personnel standpoint, even from possibly a coaching standpoint. All through the organization, you can expect changes. So I think these players should also be aware of that, the minimum fighting for their futures out here on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, and Lewis Neal, he could not be around next year. There is a chance that he does get the job, the more permanent head coaching gig, and there's a chance he does not. But he definitely deserves a lot of credit for how he has, kept the season alive for Miami.
Exactly, and if they make the playoffs, he deserves that opportunity to go ahead and lead this team next season, because that would be a huge accomplishment and achievement if the team are able to go on and make the playoffs based upon how they performed this season so far.
Dodson's throw in for Charleston. Looking for Williams, and Stanley took it away.
But this is what you're going to face in the playoffs. A packed house in Charleston. If they make the 8th, they're going to play all their games away from home. So this is essentially a test to see, hey, if you're going to have any success in the playoffs, this is a great test to see if you're capable of that tonight.
And honestly, they've settled down nicely. They gave up that 7th minute goal. They need a little bit more in attack, sure, but at least the defense has shored up and limited Charleston's chances later on in this half.
Yeah, the problem is I don't think they've fed the strikers enough to be a threat to Charleston. I don't know if Charleston's defenders can defend you. Apart from dropping off and allowing a few shots from distance, they've not really been challenged in 1v1 defending or balls over the top or testing them as a unit, as we've seen Miami be challenged in wide areas with Traeger going up 1v1 or Barajas going up 1v1. So I'd like to see a little bit more purpose in the attack.
Telfer driving. He crosses. No one's home. Pounced on by Stanley. He slips it forward for Sordo. He crosses. The back heel by, it was Kyle Murphy, and he just could not get enough on it.
And there we've seen 2 deliveries into the box there. One from Telfer on the right side. The other come from Sordo on the left side. And it's just screaming for a striker just to make a run into the box, towards the penalty spot, towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and just tap it in. Look at that. Valois is just 3 yards late, and that's the difference between scoring and not scoring, or even getting a shot off and not getting a shot off.
Positive, though, from Miami FC. They wanted to get their outside backs, Stanley and Telfer, involved in the attack, and they were certainly involved on that one.
And you saw Telfer was actually numbers against. There was 2 Charleston defenders out there. He was still able to beat them and deliver the cross.
Telfer gets something on that. Sordo, slicing shot just wide.
Great strike and technique there from Sordo, but it was always going away from the post there. I think the goalkeeper dived to make it look a little bit more pretty, but I think that one was never going on target. But Sordo seems to have recovered well. The couple of chances that Miami FC have had in this second half, he's been responsible for 2 of them, so he finds himself in gooder positions. He has a nose for danger and knows where to position himself to get those opportunities, but as I said, great strike. I think the goalkeeper's being generous with his effort there.
Just entertaining us. By the way, 5 minutes of stoppage time. Extra stoppage time is brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. So quite a bit of added time, likely because of Sordo's injury. Yeah, seems like the back wasn't bothering him on that shot. Not that much anyway. It was a really, really well taken effort. Paco Craig driving forward.
That's where Paco Craig just needs one of his centre midfielders, just giving him an easy option. He's having to try and play a 25-yard, 30-yard pass with the outside of his right foot, rather than just being able to find Cabral or Akinyodi 5 yards ahead of him so they can receive the ball in half turn and play forward.
So it was called a handball after hitting the arm of a Charleston player.
Rivas, it's been a little bit quiet in this first half, despite the through ball that he sent through to Murphy earlier on in the half. We haven't really called his name too much, and he's one of the players that they need to be on form and getting a lot of the ball to make things happen. Hopefully they're able to adjust in the second half and try to find his feet a little bit more, because we know that he has the ability when he can get shots off from distance to really threaten this goalkeeper.
And typically, oh, that's a turnover. Traeger skies it. Oh, he reached it. And Charleston just misses, doubling its advantage before the half.
This is an absolute catastrophe with this back pass here. I'm not sure what Murphy is thinking here. Lays it, beautiful pass into the path of Traeger. Traeger just didn't want to accept the gift and hands it back to Miami FC for a goal kick, but that would have been game, set and match had that gone into the back of the net just before half time.
Awfully cruel of a miss for Traeger. That is one that 9 times out of 10 he puts away, but perhaps the adrenaline of the moment in this large crowd. And it's a kind gift for Miami, realistically keeping their playoff hopes alive. 2-0 would be a mountain to try to climb against Charleston. So we were talking about Joaquin Rivas. Miami tends to win when he scores because of the volume at which he's been scoring. But Rivas, 2 braces and a hat trick over his last 9 appearances. He scored last match as Sordo switches play. That's a beautiful feed. Velo crosses
delivery.
in.
Oh.
Just missed its intended target.
From wide areas, the deliveries, whether it's been from corners or whipped in crosses, the opportunities have been there for Miami FC. They're just lacking somebody with that killer instinct in and around the 6-yard box to finish it off. Great delivery there from Velo. Whips it, goalkeeper was nowhere near it. Defenders didn't want anything to do with it, but there's just no one from Miami FC there to convert into the back of the net. But the dangerous deliveries from both dead ball set pieces from corners and from those wide crosses.
Big chance coming here after Augie Williams is called for the foul. It's a huge opportunity for Miami to get things level right before halftime. It'll be Stanley or Cabral. Can the visitors even things up in Charleston? Cabral lofts it in, back post, and that was not his best effort.
Yeah, wasted opportunity there from Cabral.
Cabral with a goal and 2 assists in his last 4 matches, but could not deliver on that set piece opportunity. Detroit, by the way, has gone up 1-0 at Loudoun. So as the table stands now, Detroit is in 8th on 40 points. Miami in 9th on 38. So even more incentive for Miami to try to get 3 points tonight. And there is your halftime whistle. 1-0 Charleston over Miami. It's a 7th-minute goal from Augie Williams, number 13 of the season for Augustine. And that is what separates these two sides in Charleston on Breast Cancer Awareness Night here from Mount Pleasant. Don't go anywhere, though. We've got the halftime show coming up. We will talk about news and notes from around the league, preview some other matchups coming up in the championship. It's 1-0 at halftime. Battery in front. Miami needing to respond in the second half.
There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
Charleston is located in the low country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else. This place is magical.
Here in Charleston, it is 1-0 Battery over Miami FC. Miami in that 8th spot, except for the fact that they're not currently there. They're in 9th because Detroit has scored against Loudoun. This is their 6th minute goal from Maxi Rodriguez as Ben Morris provides the assist. Detroit on 40 points as it stands, and that one right through the wickets.
Cool, calm, composed finish. Straight through the legs of the goalkeeper. This will be an absolute dagger into the hearts of Miami FC if they're not able to turn this around in the second half. But some beautiful interlinking play here. Goalkeeper gets nutmeg. Detroit fully in control over there against Loudoun.
Next match for Charleston Battery, that is October 14th. So on Saturday, 5 Eastern against Birmingham Legion. Battery, who knows, might be playing for the 2 seed there.
And this will be the last game of the regular season, so expecting to see a big attendance again tonight. Full house here in Charleston.
Legion, by the way, are in 7th at 43 points. So it should be an interesting matchup, maybe a preview of a playoff game. And here's the last match for Miami FC. It is at Sacramento Republic, which is a tough way to finish the season against the #1 seed in the West.
Yeah, Sacramento on hot form right now, and the season could be over for Miami FC if they're not able to pull things around and take control of their own destiny tonight. Going there to get a win is going to be extremely challenging. However, still a second half to play.
And we will have the second half when we return, but the halftime show continues when we come back. USL news and notes, as well as upcoming league schedule when we return on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
One-0 at the half. Charleston Battery over Miami FC. Augie Williams with the 7th minute goal. I'm Nevada Cohen, joined by Chris Nurse as we take a look at some of the news and notes from around the USL Championship. I would miss every single one of those shots. Okay, Golden Boot race. Albert Dikwa with 19 goals, just 1 week left. He might just have it on lock. Davian Kimbrough for Sacramento Republic. What a prodigy.
Yeah, you're looking at Dikwa, and we're talking about Williams here, 13 goals, Dikwa 19 goals. This is essentially what the teams that are going to win a championship need. You need a striker who's going to get close to 15 goals each season, and you also need that guy who's getting close to 10 assists. And we've spoken about Charleston having that in both Barras and Williams, and Pittsburgh have obviously had Dikwa leading the goal-scoring race for most of the season, competing with Trejo over there in Phoenix.
USL Championship final on November 12th on ESPN2. Here's your USL Championship schedule for the rest of the night. 6 games on tap. Any of you have your eye on, Chris?
Orange County, San Antonio looks pretty exciting. Orange County have peaked at the right time. Strong in their championship conference now on the western side. And San Antonio, obviously last year's champions. That, for me, is a very tasty encounter.
I'm intrigued by Memphis and El Paso. This is an El Paso team that beat Charleston last time out, 8 Eastern, and El Paso trying to just lock up a playoff seed, maybe get a little bit better of a matchup. They're down there, but still in the top 8. We will be back soon with the second half of this one. Miami FC need a couple goals to keep their playoff hopes realistically alive. Second half when we return on ESPN+.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
Hey Google, turn up the heat.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else. This place is magical.
Back here from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, it's 1-0 at the half. Second half starting in just a moment between Charleston Battery and Miami FC. Again, the goal that separates these two was scored by Augie Williams, and we will take a look at the first half highlights. 7th minute, here we go. Augie Williams scores this goal, but Tristan Traeger starts it.
Yeah, you see Traeger 1v1 up against Telfer here. Roasts him. When you think he's going to deliver cross, gets to the byline, cuts it back. Williams all alone at the back post. Stanley arrives far too late to put any pressure on him. He gets 2 bites of the cherry, and then the second one buries into the back of the net after a good first save from Maguire. None of his teammates are able to help him, and Williams buries it with a second attempt.
Maguire's been really good this half, but that was hit out of the park by Augie Williams. Here in the 13th minute, it's Florian Valo feeding it forward. Rivas slips it through for Murphy, being chased down. And it's a corner for Miami FC. That's all they could muster there.
Yeah, one of the few times we saw Rivas in possession. The ball is a good ball through to Murphy, but Murphy was just unable to win that foot race, only winning a corner for his team.
Plenty of time for Sordo here, but easy save for Muse.
Yeah, lots of time and space in the box there to pick his corner, but a pretty weak shot, fairly straightforward for Muse.
33rd minute, Dodson catches an arm to the face, but hold on, Chris Allen from distance, and Maguire to the rescue.
Great strike from Allen. Had a little bit of everything, a little bit of bend, a little bit of whip, a little bit of power. Inches away from giving them the 2-0 lead.
And then just before halftime, crucial mistake, but Traeger just misses high.
Yeah, I thought Christmas was in December, but it looked like Christmas came earlier. A complete gift here for Traeger, and he's unable to capitalize. Gives the gift back, blasts it over the crossbar, and keeps Miami FC in the game. Just 1-0 lead.
We're not in December or July, but I thought it was Christmas too. So 1-0 Charleston over Miami. Even on shots, almost even on shots on target, but Charleston, we noticed it early, they continued it throughout the first half, owning the possession.
Yeah, Charleston have dominated possession and they've had the better of the chances created. For Miami FC, we want to see a response in the second half. We want to see some competition, we want to see some fight, we want to see some energy, some passion, some intensity. Things that all we've been lacking in this first half for a team that are trying to hold on to their playoff destiny and have the ability to control it themselves.
So Miami, who trails this game 1-0. Here is the race to the USL Championship playoffs. Road to the final playoff picture you see on the top right of your screen. There's Detroit in that 8th spot. That is where Miami would be if they win tonight and, you know, eventually make the playoffs. Charleston, the 3 seed at the moment. They would face Indy 11. They could get to as high as the 2 seed, maybe a matchup with the Birmingham Legion.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned on the fixtures coming up, which one excited you most? Memphis 901 currently occupying the 4th position, which means they'll get the home berth. Stephen Glass done a phenomenal job with them this season. They're definitely a team to look out for in the postseason. Dangerous in attack, strong in defense, players who can create. I think they're silent giants.
Yeah, Memphis, they know a thing or two about good coaches. Coach Glass, Coach Pierman, now with the battery. Oh no, what is this? What are we doing? little jumping.
Williams on his way out. Leading goal scorer, 13 goals for his team this season, a great return.
Well, you can see the energy from Charleston. We just haven't seen the energy yet from Miami. But if they can play with that energy, there's no doubt that this squad has what it takes to stage a comeback and win this match, even against the great team this season that is Charleston. Plenty of football left between these two sides. The last time these two met, it was a 1-1 draw, and that was in Miami. Trey Muse bowling over Kyle Murphy in the box in the 5th minute, but Murphy missed his 2nd straight penalty kick, and then Mines ended up scoring for Miami in the 83rd minute before Andrew Booth net the equalizer in the 97th minute at the death for Charleston. That was a classic. That was 1-1. But as for Charleston, they have not had success against Miami. They are winless in their last 6 against Miami FC. 4 wins, 2 draws for Miami against Charleston in the last 6 meetings.
I hope that was a fist bump of war with Williams and Rivas there. I hope they were ready to go toe-to-toe. For Miami FC, you know, we're looking for a response from them in the second half. They have 45 minutes to take their destiny back into their own hands. Otherwise, they're slowly wishing it good night. I don't think they gave enough effort and intensity in that first half, individually, collectively, to really walk away saying that they deserve to hold on to that last playoff spot. And I think now is going to be the test of character. If they're really a good team, they find a way to win this game.
Maybe it was Williams and Rivas talking about who's going to score a better goal, because Rivas scored a banger last week. Williams already has a goal tonight. Rivas does not yet, and you have to figure if Miami wants to win this game, they're going to need to get him involved, and they're probably going to want him on the score sheet.
Yeah, I think for Lewis Neal, you want to see it. You want to see a little bit of blood in your players' eyes. You want to see that hunger, that determination, that passion, that drive to go on and really turn this second half around. They've got 45 minutes to take their destiny back into their own hands. Otherwise, they're at the mercy of Detroit.
And Detroit up 1-0 at Loudoun, so Miami needs 3 points tonight if they want to stay in that 8th spot. Just a smidge above the playoff line. And here comes the cutback from Traeger, is shielded out for a corner kick. Wow, that was an early opportunity. Battery coming out running.
Traeger absolutely flying down that left-hand side. Looked like the defender was jogging with the handbrakes on, completely getting roasted, just unable to deliver the ball into the box of any quality there, Traeger, but he's definitely got the beating of the defender down that left-hand side. If we see that matchup 1 or 2 more times in the second half, I think we'll see Charleston taking a 2-goal lead fairly quickly.
Traeger has given Miami fits tonight. Here's Arturo Rodriguez.
And he really should have had himself on the score sheet also.
Whips it in near post. Kyle Murphy rises high for it. Barajas able to get possession back for Charleston. And Sordo plays it for Miami.
Murphy there showing his ability to help his team in defensive plays with his aerial ability, but you'd like to see him utilize that aerial ability now in the attacking box. There's been some great deliveries from Miami FC, and there's just been nobody attacking him. With the aerial ability that he displayed there from a defensive corner, if he's able to be more aggressive and attack the ball when they're delivering the crosses in the box, he can easily be the player who flips this game on his head and gets them back into the game by getting himself on the score sheet. But so far, haven't seen that same determination and aggression in attacking the deliveries that are coming in from wide areas.
Aiden Stanley provided an assist from a similar spot, but that has this one shielded out. That assist last week for the opener for Velo. Florian scoring his 2nd goal of the season against Hartford. Cabral cutting inside. Akinyode switches play. Dropped off for Craig. Miami trying to get wide.
Yeah, you can see it. They're possessing the ball a little bit longer, which is allowing the fullbacks to get very high and wide. You're seeing Stanley extremely high and wide, and they lost possession here. You can see they're almost defending with just 2 defenders because everybody's pushing high, trying to maximize the width of the field, but they're just unable to really get that ball into that wide left area and allow Stanley to get deeper up the field to deliver balls from a higher percentage area. If you saw the cross he tried to deliver just now was from way outside the penalty box, and it wasn't threatening whatsoever for Charleston. They need to try and sustain their possession a little bit higher up the field.
Especially we saw the possession numbers in the first half, 58% for Charleston. That's got to be better for Miami if they want to win this match.
And despite almost giving up that early opportunity in the second half, they've definitely been a little bit more purposeful in their possession in the first stages of this second half.
Patriots Point has it all tonight. We've got a sellout crowd, Charleston on top, and a beautiful sky as we hit sunset time, golden hour, 7:16 from Charleston.
I think the key for me starts with Akinyode and Cabral getting on the ball and not forcing it, but can they be the ones to play forwards? We just saw Cabral picking up some great positions, and he actually had the time and space to pick up the ball and turn and drive forward and play forward. But he plays a ball to the centre-backs, and it doesn't lead to anything threatening for Charleston. So the possession that Miami are having is not leading to anything that's dangerous. They're just switching the ball from side to side and not necessarily creating anything. I think the way the ball is coming through the likes of Akinyode and Cabral, they've got to do a better job of connecting with the forwards.
Gabriel Cabral, the former Tormenta player in USL League One, is someone that Lewis Neal says that they missed earlier in the season. Out in the first half, and since his return, they've slowly built him up, got him minutes. And he's a box-to-box 8 that can get up and get down and cover ground well and unlock a defense with his through balls.
Miami doing a good job of outnumbering Charleston in wide areas right now. Charleston have 2 players with the fullbacks going high and the wide player in the wide areas, and they're doing a good job of getting 3 bodies out there and just forcing Charleston to go backwards and sideways, which wasn't necessarily the case in the first half.
I'm not saying we got the Any Given Sunday speech from Lewis Neal at the half, but you can already see the adjustments being made by Miami FC.
I mean, he probably read them the right act, to say the least. At least the minimum that you do is give it everything that you've got. And I don't think that was the case in the first half. So I expect to see the players literally leaving everything on there in the second half.
Yeah. Especially they know how lucky they are not to be down 2-0 with that Traeger miss.
And they also know how lucky they are still to be in the playoff positions. They've not had a great season. They maybe arguably could say, hey, you're lucky to still be in a playoff competition. The minimum you do is go out there and fight and give it everything that you've got. And I think that was lacking in the first half, and I think Lewis Neal probably let them know. You're away from home, maybe you want to be a little bit cautious, but sometimes that can come against you, because a team like Charleston, aggressive, on the front foot, get the leading goal. Now it becomes even harder to get that result away from home, especially a packed crowd. 12th man has an impact in these games, especially as the game ticks off and you start to get tired. That all plays in favour of Charleston. So getting the first goal was key to Miami FC being successful tonight, but it's far from over yet. As long as they don't try to make Christmas come early for Charleston again, I think they still have a good opportunity in this game.
Again, it is time for Halloween, almost Thanksgiving. It is not yet Christmas time.
Maybe it was a Thanksgiving gift. But Traeger...
Something to be thankful for, to be sure, for Charleston.
Traeger clearly didn't want it.
No. And a foul. Aiden Stanley running away. The Battery have a brand new look on and off the field this year, thanks to Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including the custom 2023 primary, secondary, and alternate kits by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com.
And this is exactly why you didn't want Charleston to have the lead, because now you can see how they're managing the game. They're taking a little bit longer with everything, allowing the clock to drain when Miami FC are chasing the game. And allowing them to have that control allows them to dictate the tempo of the game. So that's going to play into Charleston's favor and frustrate Miami FC as the game continues.
Rivas tripped up. Allen, he will be shown a yellow.
Definitely a foul there from Allen, but I actually thought if Rivas was able to release that ball half a second earlier, Murphy would have been in behind the back line. He does draw the free kick here, but hopefully the camera can show you. Murphy's making the run in between the two centre-backs, and had he been able to release it half a yard earlier, I think he's through on goal there.
That first touch, if it was a feed to Murphy, could have been dangerous. Instead, it's Allen's 5th yellow.
I think if there's something you're looking at Miami FC and say they're lacking in attack, it's been, for me, there's been no threat in any type of speed. You know, for Murphy, he's good at holding up the ball, but there's not been anybody that essentially has been threatening, lightning quick in behind, who they've been able to stretch the opponents and create opportunities from that aspect of things. It's it's been very much the same from most of the players.
Stanley.
Williams has been a little bit of everything. He's done hold-up play, he's been dynamic in attack, he's been able to threaten through stretching.
And Rodriguez has a word for our head official, Deshaun Beard. Our assistants are Nicholas Seymour, Fritz Barbarousse, and fourth official is John Rush. Sordo, acres of space, plays it wide. Header flicked on and cleared by Fidel Barajas.
Another dangerous ball into the box from Miami FC, and just nobody attacking the ball with any purpose or aggression.
Stanley, not the best service from him. We've seen some peaches of assists from him from that area.
I think the attacks that Miami have had in the Final Third have lacked a little bit of quality. We've seen the deliveries, we've seen some shots from distance, but we've not seen anything of tremendous quality that's really said, like, this is where they've been threatening or dangerous.
Telfer, can he cut it back? Oh, he is brought down, and Miami FC has a chance to level this match thanks to Ryan Telfer. The look on Mark Segber's face says it all.
And I think Thanksgiving has come a little bit early here. Miami FC have got themselves back into this game with a penalty kick. I 100% agree. I think that's a penalty 100%. Miami FC can thank themselves, grateful to get this opportunity. Now they need to convert it and see if they can really kick on from here. Hopefully the goal allows the momentum to shift a little bit in their favor, and they're really able to build some momentum for the remainder of this game.
Mark Segbers called for the foul, made 69 appearances from 2022 to 2023 for Miami. Acquired just a couple weeks back on the 22nd of September. And it is Joaquin Rivas, team leader with 9 goals, the El Salvador international. 8 goals in his last 9 matches. There was a penalty kick in the last time these two teams faced, but Kyle Murphy missed it. It came in the 5th minute.
Rivas will just need to hold his nerves a little bit longer here than he would have liked. Referee taking it a little bit longer to get the teams organized for this penalty kick, and sometimes that extended period before he gets to kick can sometimes play into the negativity of the psychology, so hopefully he's able to maintain his composure.
Joaquin Rivas, to keep Miami's playoff hopes alive, steps up and nails it. We're level at 1.
Cool, calm, composed finish here from Rivas. Despite Muse going the right direction, the accuracy on the strike was just too clean for him to stop.
Here was the foul. Segbers came over, knocked him over, and Rivas.
Oh, cool, calm, and collective into the side netting. Muse guessed the right way, was inches away from saving it, but the accuracy on the finish from Rivas gave him no chance.
Rivas into double figures on the season. That's 10 and 9 in his last 10 matches. He's been on one.
And that may that may have been the kickstarter that Miami FC needed to really turn it on in this game. So far, as we've mentioned numerous times, they've been lacking a little bit from what we expected to see. But hopefully that game is able to go on and change the momentum. Goals change games. For Charleston, it'll be a huge punch in the gut for the way they performed tonight, conceding that goal. But for Miami FC, hopefully that's able to give them the confidence and the motivation to kick on.
Surely Charleston will think that it was a light foul, that it shouldn't have been a penalty. It certainly wouldn't have been surprising if it wasn't called, but there was enough there to give it.
It wasn't the fairy tale ending for Segbers competing against his own team. His old team, he ends up giving away a penalty kick in a crucial stage of the game.
Speaking of penalty kicks, Detroit City with a 41st minute penalty for Maxi Rodriguez as Emilio Icaza punches the ground. So Detroit City is up on Loudoun on the road 2-0 thanks to the Rodriguez brace. And that means Miami still needs another one to stay in 8th. It almost looks like Stanley rolled up on Icaza after being fouled.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
Stanley had possession of the ball. So Icaza actually comes in and tries to challenge him and ends up being the one that gets hurt in the end. The way the players fell down on each other, I think, is what the cause of the injury was. It's going to be interesting to see if he's able to shake that off, or if Ben Pearman takes him out and tries to preserve him, doesn't want him to get any injuries that could carry into the playoffs. Obviously, this is where you may be smarter in your substitutions. A game that may mean more, maybe he leaves him out there, but when players start to pick up knocks, this is when you can use that opportunity that you've already had to qualify for the playoffs and protect them a little bit better than you may have needed to in other situations.
Stanley's free kick was a little short as Charleston tried a counter. And a shirt tug there from Rivas.
Short to say the least. Icaza's probably one of the shortest players on the field, and Stanley's delivery doesn't beat him. Doesn't give his teammates a chance at all of attacking that delivery. And this is one of the things we said in the attacking third. Quality has been lacking from Miami FC tonight.
Here's the shirt tug. Yep, Arturo Rodriguez not going to escape that.
Yeah, I think he's lucky not to get a yellow card there. There's no, it's a little bit too obvious, right? There's no subtlety in that.
I mean, that shirt was stretched more than a, I don't know, piece of gum that you're chewing and then you pull out from your mouth. So Charleston concede the equalizer in the 56th minute. It's the former Miami man, Mark Segbers, who made the foul that set up the Rivas penalty kick goal to tie things at 1 after Augie Williams scored the opener all the way back in minute 7. And Charleston looked to answer here. Fed forward, Arturo Rodriguez crosses. Barajas slips it back, Icaza chips it in, and that's a strong header from Akinyote.
Beautiful touch there from Barajas. Just looks like a pillow, just kills it dead.
He's so good at just trapping the ball like a sand pit in the box and then getting it onto his left foot. Barajas whips it in. That's off the foot of Akinyote. Icaza coming in was Arturo Rodriguez. Back for Allen.
And even though Arturo Rodriguez doesn't win that header, you can see the intent, the passion, the purpose attacking the ball, and that's what's been lacking from Miami FC at the other end. The crosses that have been delivered, there's just been nobody attacking and jumping with the defenders to even put them under any pressure.
Ryan Telfer is down. He's the one who drew the penalty kick for Miami. That was scored by Rivas. Icaza with a burst of speed. Nice touch on that ball.
Just hangs it up at the back post there for Arturo to attack, and Telfer actually does well to head the danger away. I feel like the Miami FC physio has been on the field a number of times tonight. She's been as an integral part of the game as any of the players.
So busy. She's been in the limelight more than Taylor Swift has lately. And she's played an important role too, because Christian Sordo able to stay in the game thanks to her efforts.
It's always important to recognize the team behind the scenes that do the hard work to keep these players on the pitch. I think that the physios work tremendously hard. when they're trying to keep the players physically fit and helping them to recover from injuries so that they can go onto the pitch and perform. And I think they often underestimate the impact they have on this group from psychological aspects, because when you're injured and you're going through a tough time, your physical therapist or your athletic trainer, as much as they may or may not like you as part of the job, they actually become your therapist, because you end up having conversation with them about how you're feeling. You're often feeling rejected because you're not part of the group and you're recovering, and maybe sometimes you have setbacks, and they have to be able to guide you through that whole process. So round of applause to all the athletic trainers there who are keeping these teams fresh in the USL Championship, especially approaching the end of the season, playoffs, when bodies are tired, players are tired mentally. It's been a long season, and you know, you're approaching the most important part.
Beto Avila coming in for Charleston, making his 22nd appearance, the 22-year-old from Austin, Texas, who has been a second-half sub in the last 3 Charleston matches. He replaces Arturo Rodriguez, who was making his first start since the San Diego match when he was re-injured on September 9th. He had missed a total of 8 matches after getting injured against Miami in Miami on the 15th of July. Good to see Arturo put in an hour's worth of work as Ikaza sends it in. High header. And Miami can break here. Velo trying to feed Murphy. He's able to get on the end of it.
Murphy does well there to use his body and keep possession, but what he needs at that moment is other players making runs past him. Unfortunately, he just has to use it up and out. They're playing backwards and backwards and backwards rather than having dynamic players flying down the wings for him to play forward. Murphy did great there to keep possession of the ball, but there was nobody making runs past him in that situation and stretching the defense even further.
Stanley forward, Murphy cuts it back and taken away by Allen.
Once again, we see that lack of quality from Miami FC in the attacking third. We haven't seen like the Barajas or the Williams or the players who have that creativity or the killer instinct in front of goal to convert those chances. Rivas says, we've mentioned him 3 moments tonight. Yes, they've been key moments in the game, but he hasn't been involved enough tonight for my liking to really be able to take control of this game and dictate what happens for Miami FC.
As for Charleston, really the best they can get at this point is 2nd place. They cannot get that top seed in the East. That was attained, that'll be either attained by Pittsburgh or Tampa Bay Rowdies.
With Charleston taking 3rd right now, and Memphis 901, who play later on this evening, occupying the 4th spot. Hosting at home in the playoffs.
And Coach Pierman was talking about the fact, as that is a foul against Miami. Cabral walking away from our head official, Deshaun Beard.
Dodson driving in there. I don't think that's a foul, let alone a yellow card, to be honest. I think I agree with Lewis Neal here.
Well, fortunately for Cabral, that's just his 3rd. He's not in any danger of missing any matches anytime soon.
Interesting to see who's going to be stepping up to take this. See if Barajas, we know he has a lot of quality in that left foot. It's a fair distance out. Takes something special to beat Maguire from this distance.
He scored a first-half brace against Tulsa a couple matches back. This is Ikaza who lifts it in well beyond the far post, and Traeger can't even get ahead to it. It's a goal kick for Miami.
Ends up being a wasted effort.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Barajas take that.
I think the way he's been performing and the confidence that he has right now, I wouldn't have betted against him personally.
Even though Charleston lost last match, they still locked up that home playoff match. They lost 3-2 to El Paso, but they got a couple losses that helped them out.
A couple occasions now, the ball's gone into Murphy and he's not been able to keep Miami FC in possession. Wondering as the time ticks if Lewis Neal is thinking about maybe bringing on some more attacking firepower to try and see if they can get that go-ahead goal.
Really good tackle there by the captain, Paco Craig.
Yeah, we spoke about his leadership, having won this championship before as a player, the role that he plays in this team, keeping the group together and keeping them positive through the adversity they've had this season.
Paco Craig is a seasoned vet played for Lou City from 16 to 19, won 3 straight USL Championship titles from 2017 to 2019. With Lou City, he was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year runner-up. And then with Miami, he's been to the playoffs the last few years.
So when we talk about the caliber of the Miami FC roster, you're talking about having players who have won 3 championships, been to the playoffs every year, and then now they're in a situation where they may not even be making the playoffs, period. You know, so the mentality of the players within the group, the experience, the success they've had.
Yeah, safe to say Paco Craig will want to make the playoffs and shine on the biggest stage, just like his dad did, Paco's dad. Mikey Craig, bassist for Culture Club in the 80s. Bassist, goodness. Well, any music credibility I once had is now out the window. I'm just gonna throw out all my playlists.
See if we can give you an update on the live standings.
Still 2-0 Detroit City since that match is at the half. So even though Miami is drawing now, they won't be quite back into 8th.
Currently, as things stand, Miami are 1 point behind Detroit City in 9th. If the results stay as they are, Detroit will be occupying that last playoff position and have the ball in their court going into the final game of the season.
It is truly a must-win for Miami at this point. Dodson looks to cross. He earns the corner.
And looking at the opponents, next week is Sacramento away, which you would envision is a harder task than Charleston right now. So if there was any of the 2 fixtures where they really need to go for those 3 points, I think it's both, but maybe tonight a little bit more. Gives you a little bit of a boost going into that final game. Detroit currently leading 2-0. Things are really heating up in the push for that final playoff position.
Charleston looking to go back in front as Fidel Barajas will take this corner kick. They scored back in the 7th minute. Not much since. That one's lofted towards the back post, and it's out of touch again. Ofemu is peeved, to say the least.
It's really it's a moment in time where the players really have to be in control of their emotions. They have to channel their aggression towards getting a result in this game. They can't afford to get frustrated at little decisions or challenges or interactions that may not go in their favor. They've got to stay focused on the task in hand.
I think Palma tried to head the ball and ended up accidentally heading Ofemu, which he believes should have been called a foul going against Charleston. This corner is handled well by Miami as Rivas tries to switch play to the near side, and Allen does well with it and almost keeps it in but can't. So just about 20 minutes left in this one, and Kyle Murphy will be replaced by Michael Salazar. A Nuno reverse card after last week when Salazar started and Murphy came in for him.
It's going to be interesting if Salazar can provide that spark in the attacking third that's been missing for much of the game from Miami FC.
Unfortunately, Murphy just didn't have a ton of opportunities tonight. Like you said, he had that one where he just couldn't really lay it off, but didn't see a whole lot of the ball. Charleston has dominated possession on the evening as Segbers is shoved and earns a free kick. Telfer, his replacement in terms of where Segbers played for Miami, was the one to foul him.
Yeah, and again, I say the energy and focus of Miami FC needs to be directed at galvanizing the group and having positive actions that are going to help them to get a result out of this game. They can't afford to get frustrated with referee decisions. They can't afford to get frustrated with their opponents. They have to channel all their energy and focus into getting this goal, the go-ahead goal that can keep them in control of their own destiny. They can't afford to get distracted with the little stuff.
Charleston gunning for that 2 seed in the East. A win tonight would help their cause. Otherwise, they'd probably have to settle for the 3 seed if they drop points against Miami at home.
Referee wants to have a word with 2 players here with the argy-bargy. Miami FC need to focus at this moment.
Barajas takes it short. Ikaza. That one's never close.
Wrong type of football.
Even that type of football, I think that's wide right. maybe would have curled it through.
You appreciate the creativity there from Charleston. They had everybody fooled there thinking the ball was being delivered straight into the box. But just the final strike from Ikaza just wasn't quite good enough.
The fans decided we needed 2 balls on the pitch. I don't know if they thought we were playing Quidditch or some other made-up sport, but we only need 1.
Salazar doing a good job, just brings something a little bit different in the attacking third there. Shows his ability to be able to stretch this Charleston backline in behind.
There's a light foul. It's a free kick for Charleston. Here we go.
Not good viewing for the Miami FC fans back at home right now, seeing their team drop out of the playoff position, but we still have 20 minutes to see if they can get that go-ahead goal. Detroit fully in control of their own destiny, 2-0 up against Loudoun. And Tulsa will play later on this evening.
Probably not going to be able to clinch the playoffs tonight, Miami, with Detroit up 2-0. They need a Detroit loss to clinch. However, 3 points, and then you're looking at that last match against Sacramento, and you're saying, okay, as they're allowed to play on here. Velo trying to turn. Able to find Sordo for Stanley. His cross. That's easy for Charleston.
Probably said it 3 or 4 times now about quality in the final third. It's a good attack. Soto finds Stanley, but the delivery from Stanley is so poor. They're never scoring from that delivery, never scoring from that cross. So many times the ball in the wide areas has not been delivered with any real quality.
And Stanley's assist for Florian Velo last week was beautiful. He has not had that same type of delivery tonight. Although Lewis Neal has gotten what he has wished from him and Telfer in that they are going forward, they are serving the ball in.
There's been a couple of crosses earlier in the game in the first half that were driven along the floor when the fullbacks were able to get down to the touchline, but the aerial deliveries have been a little substandard.
And Velo goes down, and Segbers.
Yeah, I think the referee is doing a good job of managing this situation. He can understand the frustrations are high right now. I think you're fortunate enough. Another referee would have been very quick to reach for their cards in this situation.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there from Velo, but Deshaun Beard, give him some credit, getting adjusted, getting ready for playoff soccer in the USL Championship. Charleston tried to draw the free kick there, but good no call.
Good pass forward there from Akinyodi.
Stanley in for Cabral, and Beto Avila took it away.
That's happened far too often for Miami FC in the center of the park today. Just Cabral and Akinyodi holding onto the ball a second too longer and giving Charleston the opportunity to win it from them.
The play of Augie Williams inspiring this crowd at Patriots Point, a sellout night. Ikaza inside, nice give and go. Emilio Ikaza switches to his right, still has space. Ikaza denied. Akinyode with a scream afterwards.
Good block in the end, but some exciting play from Charleston there in the attacking third, some 1-2s. Ikaza beating a couple players with some nice intricate ball control.
Flag stayed down for Salazar. Sordo. And Palma did well there. Headed back into the mix, and Dotson heads it away.
Soto is down again, and you could see there Salazar runs into trouble, but he does well to get his toe in it and flick it. And had Soto been on his front foot, there's a good opportunity for him to be first to that ball and keep the attack alive, but he's down right now, requiring medical attention again.
Referee still not blowing it dead. Sordo still on the ground. Segbers into Williams, who already has a goal. That came in the first half. Plenty of space for Dotson. His shot deflected, and it is out. And there is Sordo back up, but still clutching at that right lower back.
Yeah, you can see him struggling, and there's moments in the game when Miami FC having to play with just 10 players because Sordo's down. I think the head coach is going to have to make a decision on whether he's in a condition to continue.
And Sordo just asked to be taken out, according to our producer, John Solfaro.
And you have to give him credit. He knows what's at stake for his team, and he wants to stay there and perform and help them, irrespective of the injury and pain he may be feeling himself. But I think it may be a little bit too much right now.
So he hopes Sordo is able to return soon for Miami. Hopefully this is not a long-term or even an injury that would keep him out for next week. As for Charleston, Emilio Icaza comes out here in the 78th minute. Andrew Booth is in, who started last week, making his 7th start. He had made 5 straight starts. The Kingston Jamaican native, with 2 goals and an assist this year. Andrew Booth scored the 97th minute equalizer against Miami on the road for Charleston. It's already 1-1 in this one. Corner whipped in. Header flicked away. Nicely done by Miami. Rivas racing to it, can't get there. Allen back in and claimed by McGuire.
Quick update on scores around the league. Detroit is still beating Loudoun 2-0, and Pittsburgh actually leading Tampa Bay Rowdies 1-0.
So as far as the night goes, going to plan more for Charleston. Although if they draw with Miami, then Tampa Bay Rowdies' loss doesn't really matter, at least not as much. Rivas has space and has Salazar, chips it ahead. Salazar scores! What a feed and what a finish.
Probably the highest moment of quality that we've seen from Miami FC in attack, and it's ended up in them getting the go-ahead goal and regaining control of their playoff contentions. And Salazar has been the guy to start their attack. We look at here, hold-up play, lays it off, he then takes off, makes the run in behind, and who provides the assist? Rivas, the man we talk about having quality, get him on the ball in the midfield, and he does exactly what he does best. Provides assist for Salazar, buries the ball into the back of the net on the volley. Miami FC back into the lead, 2-1, and back into 8th spot, holding on to the last playoff position.
A cheeky chip, a brilliant finish, and an instant impact from Michael Salazar. His 2nd goal of the season, Rivas' 3rd assist. And Miami leads Charleston on the road 2-1.
And you can see this is what Miami FC have been missing for 70 minutes of this game. It was a threat up top, some quality up top. Rivas provided that moment of quality. Salazar, the play starts with him, comes into him, he lays it off, turns, makes the run in behind. Rivas is able to find him on the run, and he buries the finish. And you also, before he even struck the ball, you kind of felt he had the confidence that that was going in. You had no doubt in his mind that that was going to end up in the back of the net. And this is essentially what Miami have been missing for 70 minutes in this game, was quality in the final third, and Salazar has come on and provided that. A much-needed spark that's got them back into the lead.
And for the 3rd game in a row, Charleston has taken their foot off the gas. That was the fear of Ben Pierman. Tulsa, they led 2-0. They ended up winning 2-1. They conceded late. El Paso up 2-1. Gave up 2 late goals, lost 3-2. This one, they lead 1-0 after the 7th minute. They dominated the first half, but then a penalty, and Barajas whips that one in.
The question now is, if you're Luis Neal, do you park the bus or do you keep trying to attack? Because if you park the bus, you're still going to have 10 or 15 minutes of solid defending. Or do you continue to try to attack it and get the 3rd goal? I think that they have to find a balance between both. I don't think they can afford to just drop off and defend for the remaining 15 minutes. but I don't think they need to be open and expansive and leave themselves wide open on counter-attacks either. So I think it's going to be a balance, and this is where that leadership on the field comes in managing the game. They're in control now. They're in the lead. Can they manage the tempo of the game by keeping possession of the ball and not allowing Charleston to have any more chances between now and the 95th minute?
I, for one, am interested to see how Charleston treat this, because they don't need the win. They don't need a draw. They especially don't need a draw. A win is really the only thing that helps their seeding in the playoffs. But like you said earlier, like Ben Pierman has said, every match from here on out is like a playoff match, and they've conceded the lead.
Akinyodi gets the free kick here from the referee, but again, move the ball quicker and you don't give the opponents the opportunity to take it off you. He gets the free kick, but he could have very easily got caught and turned over that ball, which has happened many times in the midfield tonight.
Whoops. Trey Muse with some slick feet.
It hasn't been the best performance from Miami FC, but you know, I don't think the objective was to come here and entertain the Charleston fans. I think the objective was to come here and can we get 3 points? And I think they've answered that question tonight so far. There's still time left in this game. They're going to need to remain focused, but in terms of overcoming adversity, challenge your character, you went down a goal, were you able to pull it back? They've answered all of those questions here tonight, and if they're able to go and sustain this result for the end of the game.
Traeger trying to tie things up. Nicely played, though, by Ofemu.
I think they deserve to be in that playoff question going into the last game of the season.
Realistically, there's about 10 minutes left in this match. There will be probably around 3 minutes of added time with that Sordo going
remember,
down.
We've seen the athletic trainer from Miami FC a number of times tonight, so I wouldn't be surprised to see somewhere in between 3 to 5 minutes of additional time. I think now it's really a test of concentration for Miami FC. Can they stay tight, compact, focused, and see if they can leave Charleston with 3 points? This is not an easy task at all. We said if you're going to be successful in the playoffs, this is a test tonight to see if you really can go and be successful in the playoffs.
Charleston trying to tie things up late. Still up into the mixer, and McGuire claims it.
Great goalkeeping there from McGuire. He comes out, he has to be strong, he has to be confident despite bodies bumping him. He needs to keep a hold of the ball, most importantly. He couldn't afford to fumble in that situation. Great goalkeeping there from McGuire.
Booth pounces on that one for Charleston. Smart foul by Salazar as he continues to dribble.
It's a great pass there from Stanley. So you can see the confidence in the players has definitely improved since they took the lead. Playing with a little bit more fluidity and flair that wasn't necessarily present earlier in the game.
There's Michael Salazar, who has the match winner as of now. Just kind of ran through Booth.
Salazar's had a positive impact in the game since he's come on, provided a much needed spark. He's been a nuisance to the defenders. He's working hard, creating opportunities, hold up play, runs in behind. In the short time that he's been on the field, had a big impact on this Miami FC attack.
Yellow card, by the way, was brought to you by Spink's Convenience Stores located across South Carolina. That is a foul on Traeger, and he'll be shown a caution. He gets a help up from Deshaun Beard, and then he gets a yellow.
Good anticipation here from Telfer. Just reads Traeger's touch and it does well to get the ball off him, and if he's not brought down, he's driving at full speed and looking for runs from Salazar again in behind. It might actually be a clever foul from Traeger because Miami FC could have been off on the counter-attack in this situation and caught Charleston short-handed defensively.
Only the 3rd yellow of the season for Tristan Traeger. This is his 26th appearance, 12th start. 24-year-old from San Clemente, California.
And now when he reflects on this game, that gift that he returned earlier in the match is probably going to come in a big consideration for the final result. Had he converted that opportunity and it was 2-0 Charleston, it's a completely different game to what it is now.
Free kick, Ofemu. I asked Ben Pierman about the ways that Charleston has let their foot off the gas lately and how they were not bit by Tulsa, but they were by El Paso. And I asked if it was a good wake-up call for his team, and he basically said to me, honey, it's October.
Yeah. Well, this is,
I'm done with wake-up calls.
And this is the question, right? You're approaching the playoffs. You want to continue winning momentum. You want your team to continue performing at the highest level because there's no switch between now and the playoffs. You can either continue performing at a high level as you have done all season, or it just becomes a complete knockout, 50-50, anything can happen on the night. So you're hoping that despite already qualifying for playoffs, that you can still play with that same energy, that same importance, that same intensity as if you were still trying to qualify. And conceding late goals like they have today and potentially giving up wins at home in front of a sold-out stadium doesn't necessarily lead them in the best stance of going into the playoffs and performing at their best. So I have no doubt in my mind that next week's game, they're going to take as serious as anything, because they need to have that mentality, that winning feeling, that focus going into the playoffs, where it's very hard to pick up that momentum once you're in there.
If this was the match before they played their first playoff match, I think they'd be making a first-round exit.
Yeah, and look, for Miami FC, although it hasn't been pretty tonight, this is 4 wins. And that winning feeling breeds confidence. It breeds team unity, it breeds chemistry, especially the way that they've gone about it tonight. They were down a goal in Charleston, a packed house, and they found a way to come back and win and potentially win the game. It's not over yet, but they're in a good position.
As for Charleston, they can still equalize as Barajas sends it to the far post, and Maguire comes out and spills it, punches it away, and Rivas able to guard Allen, and so Maguire can retreat.
Yeah, Rivas there does well, stays on his feet. Last thing he wants to do is go diving in there, give away a penalty kick in wide areas. Now they just need to block the cross. Charleston doing a good job of sustaining the pressure in the attacking third here, first to the second balls.
That was like when you forget to set your alarm and then you still manage to wake up on time. And you're like, oh no, I'm late for class. Maguire. Luckily for Miami, his spill did not cause them to give up an equalizer. Maguire has been excellent tonight, and Miami, with just a few minutes remaining in this match, lead 2-1.
Avila there delivering the cross into Maguire, and just feel like this is moments when teams switch off, when they need to do a better job of 1v1 defending in wide areas and just try to stop the delivery initially. Salazar has to be careful here for his intensity and his hard effort and his work rate. He's already sitting on a yellow card, and the last thing he wants to do is get himself a second yellow card and be out of contention for next week's game.
Yeah, let's not have that. Another look at the foul.
See, he's a little bit more dynamic in attacker. His first 2 or 3 yards are really sharp. He doesn't give up. He gives his defenders since he's come into this game, it's been a real thorn in the side for the centre-backs for Charleston. This will be a huge blow in the stomach for Charleston. A sold, packed house, full house. Fans out here to see you get the W and to entertain them. Miami FC throwing a spanner in the works.
Fortunately, Charleston still has the Birmingham match on the 14th, next Saturday, 5 p.m. at Patriots Point, to say, okay, no, this is going to be how we set the tone for the playoffs. Because tonight has not gone their way.
5 minutes of stoppage time, and this is when concentration has to be. This is when bodies are tired. This is when players switch off. This is when a lot of goals are scored in the last 5 minutes of game. So it's imperative that Miami FC recognize that, and everybody is on the same page defensively, and they're fighting together to maintain the 1-goal lead that they have.
Barajas takes it short. Allen let one rip earlier. This one, Traeger can't handle it, and it is cleared by Ofemi.
You have to give the creativity of Charleston in the attacking third credit. They pull out these set pieces that nobody's expecting, and just a little bit more quality on the final deliveries, and they for sure would have success.
Telfer's down.
Now we see a complete reverse. Miami FC now managing the tempo of game, slowing down a little bit. Traeger here getting in behind the defensive line. He's onside, just unable to get a clean connection on the ball on the half volley. Miami FC do well to clear the danger away.
Well done by Ofemi. By the way, the 5 minutes of added time are brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
4 minutes remaining. If Miami FC can hold on to this result for the remaining 4 minutes, they'll be back into the 8th position, holding on to that last playoff position with 1 game to go. Everything will be at stake next week.
It seems like Detroit won't let Miami clinch tonight. They're up 3-0 now at Loudoun with a 65th minute goal from Ben Morris. So comfortably in control on the road. Miami, there was nothing comfortable about this match from the from the blow of the initial whistle to start. And even from kickoff, as much of a struggle as it's been on the road, it may not have been comfortable, but they still are just 3 minutes away from staying in 8th place.
Yeah, but I think the good thing Lewis Neal said from the get-go, he feels like this is going to go down to the last game of the season, which it was, whether they lost or they won tonight. However, they're going into the last game of the season in control of their own destiny, rather than going into the last game of the season needing Detroit to lose. They just need to win, and they'll be across the line. So they're in a much better position winning this game than they would have been going into the last game of the season having lost it, of making the playoffs. It just makes for so much excitement for the fans, whether you're a fan of either team or the neutral. USL Championship bringing you all the action going into the final stages of the season.
Here's Booth. In for Segbers against his former side. Chip back into the box. A shot deflects. It was over the shoulder of Stanley.
Has to be careful here, just be tight.
In from Dodson. Barajas lets it rip, and it is headed out of play. Well done by Miami. That one wouldn't have curled in, but you never know with Fidel Barajas' left foot.
Barajas does well here just to receive the ball in the pocket on the half turn. He turns so sharp, and we know the quality he has in that left foot. I wouldn't have been surprised to see that one nestling in the corner. The whip and bend it had looked like it was going outside the post, but sometimes at the last minute, those ones can dip inside of the post into the side netting.
Corner for Charleston, and McGuire claims.
Experience there from McGuire. Catches it, goes down, extra couple of seconds off the clock. If Miami FC had 2 cup finals prior to tonight, they've won one of them. They're into next week, which will be the cup final in terms of whether they make it or not to the playoffs.
Against Sacramento Republic on the road. And Miami earns the free kick, and they can let precious seconds tick off the clock as a result.
Salazar's been a handful since he's come on. He's caused them all kinds of problems, whether it's been just using his body to be a nuisance, whether it's been runs in behind, whether it's been hold-up play, whether it's him putting in the work himself to go and close players down. He's provided a whole different dynamic in the attack for Miami FC in the closing 20 minutes of this game.
See what Cabral does with this, just chipping it towards the corner flag. Dodson's header takes care of business as it rolls out. No final whistle yet. Miami trailed in this match 1-0 thanks to an Augie Williams 7th-minute goal.
This is frustrating for Miami FC. If you know you're in the 95th minute, for me, I'm getting all 10 players, 11 players behind the ball, and we're defending these last 30 seconds like our life depended on. As that delivery's hit, there's still 2 or 3 players ahead of the ball instead of being behind and making it extremely difficult for Charleston to get in behind them. Now Charleston have a free kick opportunity to put the ball into the box one last time. You can see the goalkeeper, they're not leaving anything behind on this last play of the game.
Trey Muse does not have any goals this season to my knowledge. Lofted in, McGuire's there. He claims for Miami. And it's 4 on the bounce for Miami FC. Salazar, the hero, and they keep their playoff destiny within their clutches.
We spoke at halftime and we expected to see a different Miami FC come out in the second half. And I think we did. They were a little bit more dynamic in attack once Salazar came out. It wasn't fantastic soccer to watch for the night, but we definitely saw a response. They came out, they fight, they competed, they created chances, they converted chances. 4 games on the spin, 12 points out of 12. You know, I think they're trending up at the right time. Next week is going to be so key to see if they can really make it into the playoffs.
Miami wins, Detroit just minutes away at this point from 3 points, but that means Miami stays in 8th, and that does set up a huge match at Sacramento Republic at 10 p.m. on Saturday. We'll look at the man of the match now. Tonight's Heineken man of the match is Augustine Williams for Charleston Battery.
Yeah, if you leave Williams in time and space in the box, he's going to punish you in here. Traeger does such a good job getting down the line. Doesn't convert in the first chance, but he does on the second chance. Buries it into the back of the net. Williams on the score sheet again, 13 goals this season.
And unfortunately for Charleston, it was not enough as Miami FC comes all the way back with a penalty kick goal from Rivas, and then he assists the Salazar 80th minute winner. Miami FC winners of 4 straight as the post-match show continues when we return on ESPN+.
Think big. Something life-changing. I'm talking education. Let's get inventive. Blow things up in a good way. Do it for 20 years? Wake up and education has received billions in funding. Who does all this? If you've ever played one of these or these, that would be you. Yeah, thank you.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else.
This place is magical.
A 2-1 thrilling Miami FC win on the road against the Charleston Battery. As we bring you the highlights from this match from Charleston, and it was the Battery on the front foot early.
Thrilling might be a little overestimation of the game, but great opportunity here. Charleston 1v1, Traga down the line, whips it to the back post. Williams doesn't convert in his first attempt, but definitely on his second attempt. 13th goal of the season gives Charleston the lead.
Tristan Traeger with a great assist on that one. Of course, Augustine Williams, his 13th goal of the season, and the man of the match performance as he knocked that goal out of the park. And in the 55th minute, Telfer in the box, and it's the former Miami man running him over.
Yeah, Segba's just a little bit clumsy with that challenge, but Rivas here, calm, cool, composed, picks his corner into the side netting. Despite Muse guessing the right way, accuracy was just too good. Miami FC tied the game at 1-1.
And the 80th minute, okay. Joaquin Rivas does something audacious.
You can see the connection here between Rivas and Salazar. Salazar starting the play off by laying it off Rivas. Beautiful flick over the top of the defense. And Salazar watches the ball, connects with it beautifully, and buries it into the back of the net. 2-1 Miami FC.
Miami FC has now gone 7 unbeaten against Charleston. 2-1, they win this one. They were outshot 11-8. They had one more shot on target though, and despite Charleston's possession, Miami still able to get the job done and get the 3 points.
Yeah, 12 points in their past 4 games. You can't knock Miami FC for picking up results in the closing of the season. However, it wasn't the best performance in them. I'm sure there's room for improvement this week. When they look at the video, they're going to see ways where they can get stronger going into this final match, where it really is all or nothing.
Look at the top right of your screen. There was Detroit there earlier at halftime, and Miami turns it around. They're in the 8th spot. They would face Pittsburgh in the opening round.
Hey, I think once they get there, anything can happen. I think, as Lewis Neal said, making the playoffs would be a big achievement for Miami FC this season.
They lost 4 in a row. Now they've won 4 straight. Miami FC, 2-1 victors over Charleston on the road. Well, that does it for our broadcast. Shout out to producer John Solfaro, director Redo Sejo, replay operator Andy Martinez, and audio engineer Raul Felipe. For Chris Nurse, I'm Nevada Cullen saying good night, and be sure to tune in next week, Miami at Sacramento, for a chance at making the USL Championship playoffs.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.